Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to share with you more on this beliefs train. If you've been following the last two episodes, we have talked about core beliefs and how deep our beliefs can be. Today, I want to go a little bit deeper into the core beliefs behind manifestation. And I want to share with you one of the missing pieces that most people encounter as they work through their core beliefs and begin manifesting. It's been on my mind a lot in a lot of different forms, but this morning having a conversation with my son about it, I just knew it was something to get on here and share. So let's start with one hand on our heart, one hand on our belly, and take some big deep breaths here with me, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And just get nice and centered, allowing yourself to open to whatever in this teaching is meant for you, whatever in this teaching is yours for the taking, and leave the rest behind, right? So in the manifestation process, we have our core beliefs, we have our desires, we have our intentions, we want the things that we want. What I see a lot of people do, and one of the best ways to recognize some of the core beliefs that are still holding you back, is to really look at your level of trust. Trust in yourself and trust in the universe. This is the only trust that matters. When you have trust in yourself and when you have trust in the universe, you don't need or depend on trusting anything else. The problem is a lot of people think they live by trust, and then they put these beautiful beliefs or desired manifestations out into the world. And when they don't show up, they say things like, I knew that wouldn't happen. I knew I couldn't count on it. Or they're wondering why they didn't show up, but they don't realize that in the back of their mind, they didn't fully believe it. Have you ever bought a lottery ticket? Or this is the conversation I had with my son this morning. Have you ever bought a lottery ticket and you were like, I know I'm going to win, but inside you were like 1 in 2 billion people, right? Even if it was just the subtlest of beliefs, right? That's lack of trust. The place I see most people mess up on manifestation is to put this beautiful intention, desire, feeling out there. And then these core beliefs, even the really subtle ones, they come up and they show you that you still don't fully believe it. Trust is knowing that when you pray for something, it's already happened. When you set an intent for something, it's already happened. And the only thing left to do is open up to receive that through walking forward in inspired action and full faith, right? A lot of people take risks and look to a backup plan. And I am by no means telling any of you to do this. I'm just sharing my journey. But I've always lived by the premise of burning all of the boats around the island so there's no way to get off. When I left my career as a principal over middle schools, I just jumped in. I was 23 years old. I was making so much money every single year. I had a salary I could depend on as a single mom, but I wasn't fulfilled. And so what a lot of people do is they're like, well, I want to do this other thing, but I'm not really sure it's going to work. So I'm going to keep my foot in here and I'm going to put one foot here and I'm going to see what happens. What I did was I was like, I'm done. I'm ready for a new way of life. I gave my resignation at the end of the school year. I never looked back. I've been in this industry for 8 years since. And I created for myself a whole different kind of lifestyle based on that full belief and trust. It's knowing when you put something out there, it's already happened. I don't pray for my kids when they leave the house thinking they're safe and then think, oh, but what if? When I pray for my kids to be safe and protected, when they leave the house, I know they're good. Right? Because it's a knowing that I have deep within me. Our core beliefs, our thoughts, the feelings that we have inside literally allow our realities to unfold before us. So when you look around When you look at the things in your life that you want, when you look at the things in your life that you have, ask yourself, do I truly believe and have full faith that that is possible? When you look back at the manifestations that you feel didn't happen, is that really true? Or was that a piece of you that came in and didn't fully believe it? One thing that happened for me when I finally got my mind straight was I had to get my emotions straight as well. So I would put all of these really beautiful beliefs and intentions out there. I knew they would happen, right? But I still had a lot of trauma living in my body, so that I would be triggered by something and I would think that more terrible things had to happen. Or my trauma brain would say, life is going way too well for you right now. Let's imagine something terrible. And they would kind of intersect each other. And that's not to say you should be afraid of having harder, scarier thoughts or doubts or limiting beliefs. Everybody's going to have those. And if we tell ourselves we can't have them, they're just going to come back with a vengeance. So what we want to do is breathe into ourselves, notice that doubt. So we say, I want to create $10,000 a month cash profit in my business every single month. I'm putting that intention out there. I'm feeling into myself, knowing that it's a possibility, knowing what it's going to feel like. And I move forward, knowing it's already happened. Okay. Then here comes this core belief, this fear, this whatever, coming to kind of intersect that. Instead of pushing it away, so it just comes back with a vengeance, instead, we're going to say, hey, I notice you. I'm creating this new thought over here. When I take this next breath, everything I'll see is anew, and I understand that you're here for a reason. And remember, I speak to people who have already done that shadow and trauma work. So if these are really rampant inside of you, I have a shadow play course and an inner child course that are do it yourself. You could move through. You can hire a coach that can help you get into that deeper trauma work. I'm speaking to the people who have done that work. And they're here looking at these little subtle leftovers of the trauma that's saying, I'm still not quite used to being happy. I'm still not used to being in bliss. I'm still not quite used to having this kind of life. When you're in that place, you can look at these thoughts and acknowledge them and say, you're not my enemy. You're just a piece of me that's still living at a lower vibration. And I'm going to love the fuck out of you. But I'm also going to have a hard boundary here that says you don't get to take up acreage in my mind creative space. I'm going to use that beautiful sacred energy to create what I do want, which is pleasure, ease, love, abundance, whatever it may be. Make sense? So as you begin to look at these core beliefs from the last 2 episodes, as you start to see them coming up, I want you to really start looking at your relationship with trust. I want you to breathe into the word trust. And it's not just with money, it's with everything. It's with health, it's with relationships, it's with it all. And if we're looking at health and relationships, it's the same thing that I was talking about with wealth. You have this intention, you have this desire, you put it out there, and then you know it's going to happen. What ends up happening when people try to really micromanage, first let's talk about health and then we'll talk about relationships. When people try to micromanage their health, they research all the things, they do all of the things, they say only this type of food is going to be good for my body and such and such. And while that's true, if you go back to the core beliefs we talked about yesterday, where if you believe in the healthcare system, that's the only way that you're going to heal. Cool. If you believe that every time you eat ice cream, you're going to gain weight, you absolutely will. Right. And I'm not saying go eat all the ice cream and tell yourself you're going to be skinny. You have to go back and fully move through those core beliefs so that you can trust I can eat anything I want. Anything that my body is asking me to eat, I can eat, and it will not affect my physical appearance or my energy levels. I will remain healthy and strong and steadfast in all I want to do, because you shape your beliefs. Everything from the food we eat to what we consume to the kind of sun exposure we have, or people who live in old radiation zones, right? If you constantly are thinking, this is going to cause suffering, this is going to make my life harder, this is going to create this effect, that is what's going to happen. With relationships, people micromanage by trying to figure out how they can please the other person, how they can hold on to the other person, right? But that creates old, unfragmented patterns of possession, of control, of all of the things. If we can trust, right? And this is a phrase I love with everything: wealth, health, finances, relationship. If it is meant for me, and anything I desire is meant for me. If it is meant for me, I can't fuck it up. And so knowing that, you allow yourself to move through it with the full faith, the full trust that it's going to work out for your greatest good. Like I said at the beginning, if you trust yourself and if you trust the universe, there's never anything to worry about. If you trust yourself and the universe, and for some reason you attract some kind of cold or virus, you also know that you are empowered enough to clear your body of that. If you trust yourself and you get hurt in a relationship, it's not about the other person. It's about, can I pick myself up and love myself back through this? When you have trust that you have the ability, when you have the power, when you have the knowledge, and it's not dependent on the amount in your bank account, the foods that you eat and how your body feels, or who you're in a relationship with, or how that turns out, that is the complete, absolute power here on earth. We are here on earth to learn how to have unconditional self-love. We already know unconditional love. That is consciousness. That is what we are when we are out in our ethereal cosmic realms. We don't have to learn unconditional love for everybody else here, because when you unconditionally love yourself and see you for what you are, you automatically know that about every single other person. It's about claiming yourself and claiming your power and trusting yourself enough to know that you can stand on your own 2 feet and you can have the greatest desires of your heart come true. They're already here for you. Are you trusting enough in yourself and the universe to know that you are worthy and deserving of that? Let's take a big, deep breath here. Trust is unwavering. It has to be. Trusting yourself, your behaviors, your emotions, and your actions is where it's at. So I'd love to hear what came up for you guys. If you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes on core beliefs, the placebo effect and core beliefs, go back and listen and notice where you're still lacking trust in yourself and the universe. It's going to show up as things that don't feel in alignment. It's going to show up as things that feel just out of your grasp. I want you to go inside and ask yourself where that core belief is coming from, where that lack of trust is, and how you can cultivate a stronger, more trusting relationship with that aspect of yourself. Let me know below what your thoughts are, what came up for you as you listen to this. And if you are a podcast or YouTube viewer and you want more feedback, support, community circles, and so much more, join our Quantum Creations membership site, only $111 a month. I hope to see you there. As always, breathe deep and plan on miracles. I'll see you guys next week.